The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we have going on? Well, we're up mildly, about 4 points on the S&P cash. Volume was fairly light until about 1 o'clock. Then we had, within a 1-point move in the S&P cash, ton of volume come in. So it's a little interesting about what happened there right about at the end of lunchtime. 2.1 billion shares on the day, but we've been bouncing around within about a 2-point range most of the day. Not much happening in the way of earnings, of course, until Wednesday night and Thursday. Kind of quiet. Going to have some congressional testimony in about 30 minutes, but my guess is that no one's been really talking it up. But, maybe somebody's got something on them. I don't think there's a whole lot going on in that. Netflix is down a couple of bucks on news we talked about yesterday. Again, I don't think that's a big deal. So kind of a quiet market for the most part. Everybody piling into semiconductors like there's no tomorrow, especially the Apple train here. Everybody's getting on board. I just don't see it. I'm not short it. But I would tell also Qualcomm getting in a war of words with Apple saying that they won't use Qualcomm anymore. But I think if you're Apple, you want to be very scared right now. The reason why is Qualcomm has a lot of patents. And they said if Apple wanted to go all scorched earth on them, that they would be more than willing to prevent iPhones from entering several countries. They can pretty much prevent Apple coming in to China, but that's not the bulk of their business. They can truly keep Apple phones from entering the United States. And the question is whether or not they're willing to do that. After the discussion of what Apple said this morning, I think maybe they've got to go to the mats on this one. Little Godfather lingo there for those people that didn't get it. Go to the mattresses. And every once in a while, you've got to have that. But Apple thought that they could beat Qualcomm up to the point where Qualcomm would just fold and give them rock bottom prices. Also, the other thing that we haven't talked much about is the fact that Apple's using these Broadcom chips, and they aren't near as fast as the new current LTE can come in. And the question is, how long before Samsung starts running ads with that in it? And I think that might be pretty quick. You might just say, you've got your iPhone there. You paid over $1,000 for it, but guess what? It's not as fast as a Samsung. So there's a lot of stuff going on out here. I don't think we would have seen Steve Jobs doing any of these things. It would have all been fairly quiet. But at some point, you have to do everything. Of course, we were down to, 150, so we're up $20 in Apple. I think at this point that if I was bullish Apple or bearish Apple, at this point, there's absolutely no reason to be playing the equity. You want to probably be in the options underneath it, because a lot of good and a lot of bad can happen. And this is Apple pretty much at the most stretched point that I've seen it since it was pre-split around that $700 range, and it just fell apart. Again, lower sales, not being able to deliver product, the possibility of being absolutely eviscerated by Samsung advertising on the speed of its LTE chips. There's a lot of things, kind of the don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. Apple's it's living in a terrarium, and you just don't know. Now, maybe everything goes fine, but again, at this levels, I would say that you probably mostly want to be in options, whether you're long or short in this one. Probably the most risk I've seen in this stock, again, since we talked about the pre-split, what was it? I want to say September 28th, 29th. I'm just doing this from memory because it was so plain, that high. Yeah, I think it was 2012, September 28th or 29th. It was easy to see the thing was peaking out. It had a major pullback. Volumes 23 million shares going into earnings. Man, a lot of things can go wrong, and everybody on one side of the ship, certainly with Apple, everybody on one ship with the chip suppliers, this seems very risky at this time. So what else do we have going on here? Well, it's time for a little history.
Well, it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1926, Harry Houdini, the most celebrated magician and escape artist of the 20th century, dies of peritonitis. Man, I can't say. I should have probably thought of saying that, but that's probably not a word I've said in 50 years. In a Detroit hospital, 12 days before, Houdini had been talking to a group of students after a lecture in Montreal, Canada. When he commented on the strength of his stomach muscles and their ability to withstand hard blows, suddenly one of the students punched Houdini twice in the stomach, not letting him get ready and tense up before it happened. The magician hadn't had time to prepare. They ruptured his appendix. They didn't pull it out. It caused all kinds of problems, and he died on this day in 1926. Interestingly enough, as a big magician, he never really told people that he could talk to the dead and everything else. He made it clear that it was, quote, quote, magic and not reality. But he spent pretty much the last 10, 15 years debunking all the people that kind of lied about what they were doing. It was nothing more than an illusion. Peritonitis. Peritonitis. There, I got it. I guess I'm going to have to phonetically spell this stuff out if I haven't said the word in 15 or 50 years in that case. I think it's probably, well, maybe 40 years. It's been a long time. Not a word that you use every day. Call in today at 877-927-6648. Try to work that word in, just not blurting it out. It's the special word of the day. Anything else going on out here? We'll talk about a few of them. But when you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect, as it is most days. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. We'll start looking at some charts and kind of a quiet market out here. As we said, volume kind of all came in within about 1 point. Now we're about 1 point higher than that. So we'll talk more about that when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we'll look at Netflix. Netflix suspending the production of House of Cards. Talked a little bit about this yesterday. Being Weinsteined. Down on some light volume today, 3.8 million shares. There's 5.4 million shares yesterday, but this thing had quite a run. My guess is that support probably comes in around the low 180s on this if it is starting to pull back. So we'll keep an eye on that. I did get an email right at the end of the show, too late for me to comment, but you can always email me at path@tfnn.com. Question was about, or I guess it was a pat on the back for advanced micro devices. Their comments basically saying that video card sales are not that great, and neither are all the mining for Bitcoin. None of that was really ever a really big thing, and they kind of oversold it and overhyped it, or at least they think other people did. They're saying that that business isn't what it should be. Gap down a little bit yesterday, a little bit, just kind of going sideways out here. Not the end of the world for this company, but they are no NVIDIA. And when we look at NVIDIA, we'll see why they are that. Again, we've got a market that's basically figures that the prices just go up every day, and for the most part, other than a few short days, you really don't get that. But up today, yesterday, you had 12.6 million shares. You got 7.2 million shares so far today, but no signals on that one turning back. We'll look at Qualcomm real quick. Now, everybody is thinking, okay, we've got to pile in to the other ones. If it's not going to be Qualcomm and Apple's. Now, remember, Apple is only 12% of the smartphone business as far as units. So 88% of the time people are buying other units. Qualcomm in the long term may be better off in not being in Apple. I'll give you an alternate view out here. And why this thing is down on heavy volume, I think people might be thinking for a while that, Intel inside that little sticker, it may be, I think if someone was smart at Qualcomm, they'd put that little sticker on, especially the new high-speed, high-end phones out here, and say Qualcomm inside, because it's going to probably be a year, 18 months before Apple has a competing chip that works as good as the Qualcomm does now. And at the same time, like I said, can you imagine Samsung running ads saying, we've got Qualcomm inside for our chips, or we license it, and guess what? We're 40% faster across LTE, the latest LTE, than Apple phones. So I think that there's a little bit of a way to wiggle into this business. But again, that's 12% of the market. The other 88% is still available for Qualcomm. It's nice for the other folks, but again, if it's kind of like being a supplier to Walmart, they're going to beat on you on a daily basis, not pay you, late pay you, all the things that a market-dominating company will do to improve their earnings at the expense of your company's earnings. When we do look at Walmart, it got up to 89.11. This thing's kind of rolled off a little bit. It looks like they're going to compete against Amazon. But, you've got this big day when this thing took off on the 10th of October, did so with 25 million shares. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back and retest that level. Let's take a quick look at Amazon today. You are going above the previous highs. You wanted to see, you had, when it broke the previous high of $1,083, you wanted to see, 11 million shares. You got 16.5. The next day you had basically 6.6 million shares. Today you've got 2.5 million shares. So, you don't want to say anything now, but a close below 1083 would be kind of a decent signal out here that this is in a trading range that probably goes back to the 930s, between 930s and this 1100. So there may be as much as a $200 trading range. At a minimum, you probably want to look at 1025 if you are bullish on this thing and are waiting for a pullback to buy into it. So I've got a handful of things. Now, one of the other things I put in the newsletter this morning, and I will share with you today, if I can actually find it here, watching very closely on the energy stocks, because there was a handful of ones out here. Is this it? Oh, this is the test. Hang on a second. I need the Gartley's. Let's get those. There we go, Gartley's. A handful of stocks all popped up today with Gartley patterns that are very interesting in this sector. And when I mean interesting, I mean the C to Ds have half the energy of the way down from the X to A's. If you look at the USO, this thing had a lot of energy from May 24th to down to the June 21st low. From August 29th up to this high, the energy's been about half. So you've got a fairly extended C to D out here in a lot of these. They're getting close. This one says 1126, which you get to almost $11 today. So there may be one day in here. Oil, another one, which is the crude oil total return. This one could get to 593. It got to 577 today. And these things are all the same. Huge volume from the X to A's, very light volume from the C's to D's so far, or energies, let me put it that way. But even the highs out here looking pretty horrible. DBO, another one doing the exact same thing. Okay. And it got to it was 924. The PowerShares DBO did get to it today, and that one was the best looking of the bunch, but it was still very light from the C to D for any kind of energy out here. If you had a couple of days with lots of juice, but that's it. Question the Den, do you see Microsoft filling this gap short term? MSFT. Hang on a second here. I think it could. I don't like the way this thing has gone sideways for 3 days. No real follow through the gap. You had a lot of people out here. What you probably wanted to look for is about 80.75. When I say fill the gap, if you got a pretty hot stock, you kind of don't look for it to fill about half the gap. And that would be back to about 81, maybe $80.75 to fill half the gap. And that would be the buy point if volume remains low. If it fills the gap, of course, you got a problem.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Intel's up again. This one's stronger than Microsoft. Actually was able to go to a higher high today, even though it's got lighter volume. So to me, this one's got at least a little bit of continuation that Microsoft did not have. The kind of the news making this one just a little higher today is that we've got a some news on them releasing new hard drives that are ultra fast with their new memory. So things looking pretty good up here. Volume is very light. Again, if you could get this thing back at about $42, maybe $41.75, that would be the buy if it could get the gap fill on light volume. And they just continue to doing things. Even I was pretty bullish on this one at 35. At 40, it seemed kind of stretched. At 45, it seemed very stretched to me. But, the earnings were one of the better ones in tech in a long time. And they even surprised me. But that's quite a move. Basically a $10 move in this stock where it hasn't had that in, 5 years, 10 years. I'd have to go back and look at the chart. It's been forever since Intel actually got out of that trading range. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Okay, so we like that one. We looked at Apple, looked at Microsoft, Facebook coming out with earnings. Take a quick look at that. Now, Facebook, kind of interesting because you needed about 69 million shares as you broke above the high of July 27th. You had fairly light volume, 24 million shares yesterday. Today, just 13.2 million shares so far. So kind of up here priced for perfection. If any of these look like they might have a hitch in their get along, I thought earnings were going to be okay on all of the other stocks. I just thought maybe you get a little bit of a sell-off. Facebook's been probably the most quiet on what's going on. And just up here kind of hanging. Eventually, one of these stocks is going to surprise to the downside. Just hard to see how Facebook is it, but it's certainly not acting like it's got a great deal in the tank. So we'll see it. Yeah, it's Intel's had quite the move. I just thought that, it's got a massive market cap, and normally you don't get a massive market cap that'll move $10 on something that big. That is one of the bigger moves of all time for actual total dollars. Okay, so we have Facebook. Wanted to look at a couple of other ones. We talked about energy stocks all making some fairly bearish butterfly Gartley patterns. So we'll see how that comes in tomorrow. We're up 4.5 points on the S&P cash. Volume has kind of tailed off since about 2 o'clock, we'll call it 2.3 billion shares. So we're going to have a light volume up day compared to the very high volume down day. Also, why don't we go ahead and show this? Do I have time? Yes, I do. We'll go back to the summation index. Let me get this out here. Because nothing's really changed in that for the advanced decline line. This has continued down, and the NYSE continues down. Nothing really, you had kind of a one-day blip covered up by yesterday. It doesn't look like today is going to be enough to actually change that. So you do have the ability to kind of start moving down in the NYSE. Let's take a quick look at the NASDAQ summation index too. Now this one, of course, gapped up on that huge move. The shorter terms have turned up a little bit, but they're basically into this downtrend line already. So if you start moving higher, that would be interesting. But my guess is that the advanced decline line, like today, will probably close in the mid-range. And tomorrow, probably, and Thursday, looking for these things to start seeing some more selling coming back into them. But they've been moving down for about 2 weeks, so there's not a whole lot going on in this. The huge move up really started back in late August, and you really didn't have that much move for what was a giant move in the advanced decline line. a handful of stocks basically holding the entire market up. Question is, when do those rotate out? And you're probably pretty close to just ludicrous values that no one else would ever think of. Somebody said in the den that they couldn't see Intel at $45 if I told them that 2 weeks ago. But certainly this is at kind of a make or break point. Now, the NASDAQ is up today as we look at it. And, you're up 36 points, which is about 0.5%. But very little in the way of anything but the NASDAQ is running right now. Both the Dow up and the S&P up about just a little over 0.1% compared to the 0.5% of everybody piling into a very handful of semiconductor stocks. So keep a very close eye on that. When this gets thin, you want to be very, very nervous in those. Okay, so what else do we have? Oh, breakout, surge, Brent. Maybe the end of that butterfly, Mr. Z? Hard to say. Okay, so what else do we have? I wanted to look at some of these other stocks I had in my list. Hang on a second. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. Come on, load. There we go. Housing, I guess, as we get closer to more and more rate hikes, are going to be interesting. Weyerhaeuser, you've got a little doji yesterday, and today you're up on about 2 million shares compared to the 2.7 million shares on October 23rd. Looking at some of these housing stocks, getting very close to making me think that these have seen some kind of high. You may see a little bit more in Weyerhaeuser, but I continue to see a lot of the other stocks like A.O. Smith that are in this building business. And these things are not looking all that great for me anyway. You had a big takeoff. Now, A.O. Smith, if you're unfamiliar with them, make a lot of water heaters. I think about 80% of the water heaters go in new homes are these A.O. Smith water heaters. Not only that, but they sell a lot of sinks and spigots and all the other stuff that goes into putting plumbing into a house. Since it went down, it's done nothing but go sideways. So we also want to look at some of these other stocks that are kind of up here at the highs. When we come back, we'll look at Mohawk. This broke out, really never had anything, kind of at the danger point where this thing could come back into the trading range of that September 11th high. We'll talk more about this when we come back.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Taz Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the Taz Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Taz Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profile So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the Taz Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we've got looking at Mohawk here. It's, you're basically broke out. You had enough volume, but it just seems like this thing's lying out here. Any close below 259.91 would really start to make you scratch your head. It looked like maybe this was kind of a false breakout. Again, nothing to pull the trigger on right now. A lot of discussion in the den about Cisco. Cisco is not one of the stocks that I like per se, in the fact that they've got lots of competition. The competition is extremely much cheaper than Cisco, and that always is going to be a big deal. The other thing is that the energy off this low has been pathetic. That's the August 21st low up to this 34.73 high. It went above the previous high. It's pulled back into the trading range. If there is a big tech stock out here that's vulnerable, I'm going to say that Cisco is that one. Just too many other companies can build routers these days, and I don't know if there's anything more to say about it than that. Cisco still leads on edge routers, which are the ones that kind of face the rest of the internet. But just a lot of companies coming on with a lot of good product. Cisco still kind of the IBM. You don't get fired for buying it. But a lot of people, when their flagship router is like $5,500, you can go and buy a comparable router for about $25 to $3,000 from many other vendors. And unless you're like the Defense Department, you're probably going to be just as good off as you are on Cisco. So again, cloud services, that kind of stuff, they're going to sell some for all those very expensive edge routers. But on the inside, tend to buy a lot more of the other companies' routers to run inside the Cisco from their outside routers. So Cisco always has been one of these companies where I thought, from what they do, they could be easily upended one day by a new technology. So they're never my big play out here. And I've always, the previous CEO always kind of ran it like his own fiefdom. And I think that long-term that's problematic in these companies. Okay, Tesla is up strong because everybody's telling them that they won't make their numbers, and that's why they need to buy it now. I'm going to repeat that. Many articles out there saying you must buy Tesla right now, why it's down. I know they didn't make their numbers, but that's going to be it. Now, on a chart basis, just too many people short this thing for me to be short it. You've got a nice little bounce out here. There's not a lot of juice. It's going into earnings, constantly 20 to 30% short interest, so you got to watch that. I've always wanted to see a move back into 360, which we got. I did not short this thing again because it was whatever 25 or 30% short. So I took my money and ran from that 386 to 340 short. But again, these guys are going to have more competition you can shake a stick at. Everybody acts like it's not going to happen. They're going to be, by law, most of these car companies are going to have to be pushing out a certain amount of electric vehicles. So there are going to be a ton of these things out here that you're going to be able to get for a number of years at fairly decent values, because they're going to be loss leaders, so you can actually sell gasoline cars. But kind of interesting. Everybody, of course, talking about autonomous vehicles. I still have yet to see anyone tell me that these things will drive in the rain, snow, or fog. If anybody can find a link saying that these things do that, then that's great. Because the first heavy rain down here, guess what you don't get in Florida? Direct satellite. It just goes away because it rains that hard. Up north, sleet, snow. What's that going to do to them? Do they have to have heaters on them just to make sure that the ice doesn't build up on them? Do you have to sit in the parking lot for 30 minutes and let them run until they melt all the ice off of them before you can drive the car? Everybody's driving these things in San Francisco and LA, where the weather's perfect 95% of the time. If you went to the airport and they said, well, you know what, a little bit of rain, you can't fly today, then it probably wouldn't be a good option for most people if they had to be somewhere. And that is the exact same problem with electric vehicles. They still don't have the range. And of course, everybody's pushing them as autonomous electric vehicles, where they can have a big problem running at any time if you live in the real world. This is the same thing as everybody's saying you should have solar panels if you live in Michigan. Well, guess what? Are you going to be the one up there sliding the snow off these things all winter long? And of course, they only produce about a fourth of the power that they do in the summer months. And even in the summer months, you're at what, a 45 degree northern latitude already. How much are you going to get? There are applications for almost all technology. It's just very weird to me that everybody wants to dive in on what's going to be probably the most contentious market, and all think that they're going to be able to carry 25% margins. I think if you dug into Tesla's books, you're going to find that the margins probably are not 25% like they say. They're more around 10%. But again, as long as you keep saying wild, insane things, the press will cover you and make you look like a champ. As soon as you fall, they'll be the one there to give a shovel to anybody standing near so they can shovel some dirt on your poor dead body. But just one idea out here. Okay, so anything else going on that we should be looking at? Wanted to look at some other stuff. Okay. Question about DLR. This thing really hasn't moved. I wanted to keep an eye because probably the biggest housing bubble there is right now is in San Francisco. And you probably can't get anything bigger in that area than Digital Realty Trust. Now, this thing came down on earnings fairly strongly. It's bounced a little up here. You've got a light volume doji today. My guess is this thing is going to make a little bit of a triangle, and we're going to see probably it bounce a little higher. And that's, if that bounces on light volume, that's probably where I would pull the trigger on this if we think that the top of the bubble is in on housing. GPL, oh, that's the Great Panther Silver. You don't have the volume. You need 2.2 million shares. You got 1.1 million shares today, and it tagged it. GPL. We'll be back in a minute. Got a few more stocks to look at.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge Heard Daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
And we're back. Getting into it. We're up 3.5 points on the S&P cash volume. Looks like it's going to come in light compared to the hard down day we had yesterday. Question is whether we see some more sellers come in here at the close. My guess is that we're probably going to close somewhere around flat on the S&P for the end of the day. So we've got a few things going on. I want to look at them. We talked about just about everything I think we wanted to look at. Didn't get to UAA, but fairly interesting break of the lows. Retail's still horrible for just about anything, including clothes. This broke hard. And I was seeing some numbers come through on ESPN yesterday or the day before. I can't remember what it was. But basically, for the last 90 days, ESPN's been losing a day 15,000 cord cutters. That's got to add up fairly quickly for both cable companies and other companies. But if you're not watching sports, then you're not watching Under Armour ads, most likely. So I got to think that for the most part, that if that part of the market's getting cut down, then the ability to sell those also has to be kind of cut down. Somebody asked me about Nike the other day, and it's kind of the same thing. Now, this one bounced back up to resistance, but it probably has the same issue, doesn't it? And that is no one's going to malls, so you're not going to Foot Locker. And if you're not watching football and camping and watching Sports Center every night, you're probably not watching all the other sports-related ads on why you should buy the Nike jersey for your favorite football fan. Or maybe you're still watching the football games on the weekend, but you're just not watching that on ESPN. What do they got? 1 or 2 football games a week just on that? But just some things to think about. I don't see anything changing in retail at all. This looks like every bounce is a blessing to get out. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.